Hello and welcome. I'm Gina Stuckey, and this is a program about giving feedback, about telling other people what you think about their job performance, their ideas, and their behavior. Our research for this program uncovered the 4 most difficult situations encountered when giving feedback. What if the person you are giving feedback to is unmotivated to listen to you? What if they are not committed to take action?
Okay.
What if they get emotional? What if they just plain disagree with the feedback that you are giving them? In this video, we will look at the advanced skills that you need to handle these difficult situations. And we will discuss them with psychologist Peter Quarry. One of the most commonly asked questions is, what do you do when giving feedback and the person just doesn't respond? They're unmotivated to get feedback. They're not interested, like this.
Well, I need to talk to you because lately it's been brought to my attention that I think we have a little problem. And basically what the problem is some of the areas that you go to on your daily rounds to pick up different things and return different things, seems to me like you're spending a lot of time visiting. And therefore, the time that you're spending visiting is taken away from your work and you're not getting your work done.
I don't see that there's any problem.
Well, there is a problem because when you don't do what you're supposed to do on time, you don't get it to me on time, then I can't get it to who I'm supposed to get it to on time, and it just causes a really, really big problem. Excuse me, are you listening?
Peter, he's very unresponsive. Now, what can Rosie do in this situation to handle it better?
Gina, I think the mistake that Rosie made is that she didn't do something right back at the beginning when she and Justin started working together, something that I call contracting. What she should have done is kind of sat down with him and talked a little bit and agreed, contracting if you like, agreed on how they were going to work together in relation to giving and receiving feedback. It's something a little more like this.
Good. How's everything working out your first day?
All right, I'm liking it a lot.
Really? So you like what you've seen so far?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, good. I think you're going to like it here. And judging from your resume, I think we're pretty lucky to have you.
Oh, thank you.
So what I like to do before I show you around a bit more is I'd like to just give you an idea of the way I'd like to work with you. How's that?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, well, what I think is very important is that we kind of work on an open, honest feedback relationship. Because if we do it that way, then that way there'll be no lapse in communication and we'll know where each other is coming from at all times. What do you think?
Right, that sounds good.
Okay, what I like to do is if I have any problems with anything that you're doing or not doing, I'd like to just be able to sit down with you as we are right now and say, well, Justin, this is not quite right or this is not quite right.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you're doing something great, I'll be more than happy to pull you to the side and let you know that you're doing great also.
All right.
And what I would really like...
Okay, well, that's great. And can you see that she's doing this thing called contracting? She's getting his agreement that it's okay for her to give him feedback at any time should it be necessary.
Much more effective.
Exactly. But of course, contracting is a two-way thing.
Okay, but the other side of the coin, what I need you to do for me as your supervisor, which will really help me a lot, is if I'm doing anything that you don't particularly care for, or that maybe you don't understand, or that maybe you just don't think it's right, I need you to pull me to the side also and say, Rosie, you know, this is kind of getting on my nerves, or I don't really understand where you're coming from. You know, that's what I need from you.
Are you for real? I mean, I've never had a boss that was so open and willing to take criticism like that.
Well,
That looks nice, but is that really going to make a difference?
You bet it is. You see, if you've got that agreement, that contract right up front at the beginning, what it means is that if later on down the track a problem comes up and the person has to give feedback, because there's already that agreement, all you need to do is refer to that contract, something a bit like this.
Hi there, Rosie. You said you want to see me?
Sure. Hi, Justin. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Great. Have a seat. I need to talk to you about something. Remember when you first started and I told you how I like to do the open, honest feedback policy?
Right.
And you said that it was totally agreeable with you?
Yeah?
And remember how about your first 6 to 8 weeks here you had a problem and you came to me with it and you told me exactly what it was and I was able to handle it for you?
Yeah, that worked out great.
Okay, well this time I need something from you. It's came to my attention that in the areas that you go around and you pick up different things, you seem to be spending too much time in those areas, which is causing you to spend a lot of time away from your work. Therefore, you're getting some of the things that you're supposed to get to me very late, which is causing me to get them out very late. So what I would need from you is I need you to...
Well, this time he seems to be much more motivated to receive the feedback. But what happens if you have someone that you have not done any contracting with beforehand? They're just sitting there in front of you and they're not responding. What do you do then?
Okay, it's ideal if you've done the contracting right up front at the beginning. If you haven't, what you do is you just do it now. I mean, if you were sitting in front of me right here and I wanted to give you feedback and, you know, I thought you were not going to be too motivated, what I'd do is I'd do a little contracting. I'd say, look, Gina, you know, I was thinking about the way we work and, you know, it'd be really great if I could feel quite comfortable to give you any feedback that I think, you know, might help you do your job better. And I'd really love you to give me some feedback about anything that you think I can do better. Does that sound okay to you?
Yes, so we just start from this point.
Exactly. You can just do contracting there and then. It's never too late.
What if you're giving feedback and the person is motivated to listen, but they're uncommitted to do anything about it?
It is, and I'm real happy, and it is paying off, but there is something else that maybe you could take a little bit of a look at, and that's your servicing of established clients, your after-call service.
What do you want me to do? I mean, I'm going out finding new business, you know, I can't be spread out that way.
I know you are, and that's a big piece of the job, is bringing new business in, but we've also got to take care of our established accounts. We've got to make sure they're coming back again and again.
Well, aren't they being taken care of now? I mean, what?
Well, that's part of your job, I think, is to get out there and do that.
Yeah, okay.
Now here, Gary is really uncommitted. So what should Jim, the manager, do in this case?
Well, you know, I guess the issue is that giving feedback alone is sometimes not enough to really kind of rev the person up, to get them motivated, to get them committed to action. There's a lot of research that shows that a good way of giving feedback is to link it to goals.
Peter, what do you mean by linking it to goals?
Well, actually, there are two ways. One way is to link the feedback that you are giving back to the corporate goals of the organisation. So in fact, if we go back to Gary and Jim, one way that Jim can link the feedback back to corporate goals would be something like this.
You know, Gary, as important as bringing new business is, it's equally important for us to maintain the business we have, to take care of our established accounts. And I'd like you to take a little more time with some of those established accounts, your after-sales service.
Well, why is that so important?
Well, we've established a whole new strategy, a whole new set of goals, and we've incorporated these goals, customer service goals, in all of our advertising, in all of our publicity. You're seeing it on the product itself now. And I think it's more than just lip service. We really want to provide the best possible customer service we can because we want to keep our clients, and we want them recommending us to others.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
Okay, so linking feedback back to the corporate goals of the organisation is one way, but the other way of linking feedback to goals is to follow feedback by goals. Now, this idea is based on some research that has shown that where feedback is followed by goal setting for the individual, the person's work satisfaction increases and also their commitment to the job increases.
What are some of the goals that you would use to follow feedback?
Well, you could agree on some performance targets, you could agree on some action plans for who is going to do what to help improve performance, and obviously you would always set a review date to see how things are going, like this.
Well, great, Gary. Now that we've agreed that you're going to spend a little more time with some of your established accounts, why don't we set some goals?
Okay, what can we set up?
What do you think would work?
Well, how about I could contact some of my established accounts, maybe like 20% of my established clients I could contact each quarter.
I think that's a good goal. I'll tell you what, why don't we get together a month from now, and we'll see how you're doing.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right.